Hello everyone, myself Maruthi, welcome you all to this math video session. In this video, I have taken a topic from linear pair of equations under two variables, right? Now in this sum, I'm going to the banking sector, right? So obviously, banking sector means you'll be having savings, right? So when we have savings, obviously everyone wants some profit, right? For the sake of profit, we invest in different things, right? But when we are investing, obviously we look forward regarding the interest, right? So what's the interest? What's the savings you have? How much you have invested? From there onwards, we are planning a sum here. That is the real life application coming from banking sector. All right. So let me read out the question for you. You have 12,000 rupees, 12,000 saved amount. The amount what you have with you is nothing but 12,000. So you are planning to make investment with that 12,000. How much amount you are investing? No, that's the tricky part. That's the one what we are supposed to find out now. So that is what you have rupees 12,000 saved amount, right? You want to invest in two schemes, right? Generally, we'll be having different schemes. We'll be getting this much of interest. This you will be getting this much of interest. There are two schemes in the bank. Right, you are having 12,000 rupees with you. You want to invest in two of the two schemes which are in the bank, right? So here he goes, right? Yielding 10% and 15% interest. There are two schemes. You are having 12,000 with you. You want to invest some amount in the scheme 1 and you want to invest something in the scheme 2. All right. The amount of interest what you are going to yield. What is the meaning of yielding? Getting. You are getting an interest of 10% from the first scheme and 15% from the second scheme, right? How much you have invested in the first scheme? We don't know. So how much you have invested in the second scheme? We don't know. But what is the interest you are getting from the first scheme? 10%. What is the interest we are getting from the second scheme? 12%. What is the total amount you have? 12,000 rupees. Cool. Now, so as we have to find out the two investments, there are two unknowns, right? So what is the amount you have invested in the first scheme? Let it be X. What is the amount you have invested in the second scheme? Let it be Y. How many unknowns are there? Two unknowns are there. When two unknowns are there, we need two linear pair of equations to solve it and get that. So, to make two linear pair of equations with the situations, he has given two relations. What's that? Let's come back to the sum. Right. Rupees 12,000 saved amount. You want to invest in two schemes yielding 10% and 15% interest. Now, how much should be invested in each scheme to get overall 12% interest? That is the beautiful concept what is given. Overall, what is the means? For the total 12,000, interest is something like 12%, right? Investment on the first scheme, 10% interest. Investment on the second scheme, 15% interest. But overall, if you invest in only one, right, not separately, if you invest in only one, you are going to get a 12%. See, that's a tricky thing. Now, let me explain you in terms of some equation for you. All right. So, what is the amount what we have? Right, we are dealing in terms of amount. Right, so the sum is dealing in terms of two things, amount and the interest. Right, these are the two things we are having here. Amount he is talking about and interest he is talking about. So what's the total amount you have? You are having something like rupees 12,000. Okay, you are having 12,000 rupees. That you are making into two parts. We have invested something in the first one and something in the second. Right, so we don't know how much you have invested in the first scheme. Let it be X rupees. Right, we don't know how much you have invested in the second. It is nothing but Y rupees. So the total of 12,000 we have invested in the first scheme. This the first scheme, right, and this is the second scheme. We are having two schemes there. Okay, now this is the first relation. Relation is in terms of amount. The total amount is 12,000. That we have divided into two parts. In the first scheme and the second scheme you have invested. In the first scheme you have invested, amount is X rupees and amount is Y rupees. Right. Now, if you talk about the interest what we are getting, right, we are getting an interest of 10% for the first scheme, right? And we are getting an interest of 15% for the second scheme. We are talking in terms of interest. But if you invest the total amount in a single other scheme, we are going to get something like 12%. Right? So you have to remember this one. You have to remember this one. So the first relation what he has given is in terms of money, amount, rupees, right? The total amount divided into two parts. But how much is each investment, we don't know. That's why we are calling the first one as X rupees and the second one as Y rupees. Okay. Now the second relation he has given is in terms of interest, right? First investment in the first scheme, it is yielding you. Yielding means giving you 10% interest in profit, 10% profit. And in the second scheme, it is giving 15% profit. But if you won't invest separately, if you invest the total money in a single scheme, some other scheme, right, it is giving an interest of 12%. Right, but altogether means altogether 10% and 15% equals, that's what he says, 12%. Right, so these are the two relations what he has given. Basing upon these two relations, we are supposed to find what is the investment in the first scheme and what is investment in the second scheme. Let's come back, let's start the work. Right, let's go from here. Let amount invested in the first scheme, amount invested in first scheme, let the first scheme, right, let the amount invested in the first scheme is rupees X. Okay, right, but what is the interest we are investing for? It is nothing but 10% at the interest of, at the interest of how much it is said? It is nothing but 10%. So amount invested in the first scheme is X at the interest of 10%, right? Now let's go for the second one. Let amount invested in second scheme, right? So what it be? Let it be rupees Y. This is the amount we have invested. But what is the rate of interest at, right? Interest rate, right? And interest rate is nothing but 15%. This is the equation what he has given, right? And you have to remember what is the total amount. The total amount, right? And total amount, right, total amount is 12,000. This is what he has given, right? So shall I call this one as relation 1, dealing in terms of amount? Yes, this is relation 1. This is relation 1 in terms of amount. In terms of amount, this is the relation 1. Right. So what he says, total amount is rupees 12,000. That is what he says, right? First scheme investment, right? Plus second scheme investment, right? Investment equals total money. This is what we have, right? Money invested in the first scheme plus money invested in the second scheme equals total money, right? What is the money we have invested in the first scheme? It's nothing but X rupees. What is the money we have invested in the second group? It's nothing but Y. Therefore, X plus Y equals, what's the total he has given? It's nothing but 12,000, right? So this we can say easily, it's nothing but equation 1 dealing with the relation of amount. Right. So if we are dealing with the relation of the amounts, right, the total amount is 12,000. Investment in the first scheme is X rupees. Investment in the second is nothing but Y rupees. The total is 12,000. Therefore, X plus Y is equal to total. So what we have taken? We have taken in terms of the relation amount and we have framed the first equation. But let's go for that one. Now we are dealing with the relation in terms of interest. Relation to right? We are dealing relation to in terms of interest right. What he says 10% of first amount plus 15% of second amount yields right 12% of the total amount. That's what we'll be dealing in terms of the formula if you want here, right? What's the formula what he has given, right? Percentage of interest times first amount plus percentage of interest times second amount equals percentage of interest on total amount, right? That is the formula, right? Percent of interest on first amount plus percentage of interest on second amount equals percentage of interest on total amount. That is what he has given. That is what. So let's go for that. 10%, what he has given? 10% of rupees X plus 15% of rupees Y equals 12% of. How much is that? 12,000. This is what the relation he has given. The first relation is in terms of amount and the second relation is in terms of interest, right? Means what does it mean, right? The interest what we are getting on the first amount, that is 10% of X, plus the interest what we are getting from the second investment, that is 15% of Y. If you add them up, that will be equal to the interest what we are getting on the 12,000. That is what he has given. 10% of X plus 15% of Y. If the profit what we are getting on the first investment plus the profit what we are getting on the second investment, if you sum them up, that will be equaling to the profit what we are getting on the total amount. That is cool. Now, if you convert this one, that is 10% means 10 by 100 of X plus 15%, that is 15 by 100 of Y equals 12 by 100 of, what's that? 12,000. This is what the relation what we have. Right. Now, if you take 1 by 100 as common here, we'll be having 10x plus 15y equals something like, if you take 1 by 100 as common here, we'll be having 12 by 100 times. This is what we are having. Now, straight away, we can cancel this and this. Now, what is left over? 10x plus 15y equals 144,000. This is the equation 2 what we are having. Okay, so I like to repeat this one. The first equation we got in terms of amount and the second equation we got in terms of interest, right? The total amount is split into two parts. First investment plus second investment is nothing but total amount 0.1, and the profit what we are getting on the first amount plus the profit what we are getting on the second amount equals the profit what we are getting on the total amount, right? So that is what we have framed it. So now we got two equations we are supposed to find, but verification time. Yeah, come back to the explanation now. So we got two equations basing upon the two relations what we have. We got two equations. The first relation is in terms of the amount. So basing upon amount, the relation amount, we got equation 1. What is the equation 1? X plus Y is equal to 12,000. The total 12,000 is invested in scheme 1 as X rupees and in scheme 2 as Y rupees. That is basing upon the equation 1, right? Basing upon the relation of amount, we got the equation 1. Right. Now, basing upon the relation of interest, we got one more equation, that is 10% of first amount and 15% of second amount is nothing but 12% of the total amount, right? 12% of the total amount, 12,000, is nothing but 144,000, right? We got equation 1 and equation 2. We are supposed to solve that. So, we are solving with the help of elimination method, our familiar or famous one. Now, as we all know, right, to use elimination method, the quotients of any one of the variables should be same. The quotient of x here is 10 and the quotient of y here is 1. To make that one equal to 10, I am multiplying the entire first equation with the 10. Right, is 10x, 10y, and it's nothing but one more 0 added for the sake of multiplication of 10. Alright, now I have written the second equation. Now if you check it out, both are having the same quotient, but we should have opposite sign to cancel it off. To eliminate one of the variables, we should have opposite sign. So I am changing whatever the sign it has, I am changing the opposite of that. Right, so I have changed the opposite signs. Now if you check it out, I can straight away cancel this. Right, it's nothing but minus 5y equals, I think it's minus 24, alright, it's nothing but 00 here. Right, now if you multiply with a minus on both the sides, we'll be having 5y equals right, 2400, right, of course we'll be having one more 0 here, right, multiply. So now 5 equals, right, 2400 by 5. Right, by 5, it's nothing but, okay, 4800. This is what we are getting. So, the y value what we got, whatever the y value, we are getting the y value of 4800. Right, so the value, right, we are substituting here, it's 4800. Then, right, if you send it to the other side, 4800, we are getting x value as 7200. Okay, 12,000 minus. Yes, we got the rupees. Y is nothing but we got y as 4,800 and x as 7,200. Yes, this is the investment what we made in the first scheme, and this is the investment what we made in the second scheme. But verification matters. So what is the verification he has done? What he says, 10%, what 10% of first investment plus 10% of second investment equals right 12% of the total investment. This is the relation what he has given. What he says, 10% of x plus 15% of y equals 12% of 12,000. This is the relation what he has given. Let's verify what is 10% of x. What does it is? So 10% of x, what is the x amount? It's nothing but 7200. So 10 by 100 times 7200, if you cancel it out, it's 720. Rupees 720 is 10% of x. Now in the same way, 15% of y is nothing but something like 15% of y. What is the y amount what we got? It's nothing but 4800. So which is 15 by 100 of 4800. Cancel it out. Again, if you multiply this, again we are getting 720. Right? Now, what is 12% of 12,000? Right? That is 12 by 100 of 12,000. If you cancel it out, again it is nothing but 1440. This is what we are getting. Now, if you check it out, 720 plus the 720 equals 1440. Means this is the profit from first scheme, right? This is the profit from the second scheme, and this, if invested in a single scheme, we'll be getting, so what is that? It's nothing but 14. If they add it up, the same thing we'll be getting. So the verification is very important. Now, after verification, let's go for the conclusion. Right, what's the conclusion? rupees invested in first scheme, right? Rupees X equals rupees, what's that? 7,200. And rupees invested in second scheme, right? Rupees Y equals rupees 4,800. So basing upon the verification, after proving, then we can conclude that this is the investment what we got. Hope you. In this channel, I have been placing both math and science videos.